Hello, everybody. Hope you all are well. I think I say that every time when I do my lecture. Anyway, I trust you are well. Hey, I just want to spend a few minutes with you, hoping to shoot for about 5 to 7 minute video here, specifically and purely just talking about negotiation. And I'm going to talk a little bit about money and some compensation and benefits and salary and budgeting and things like that. So that is going to be the pure and only topic that we talk about because I really think it's important. I would love to spend several class periods actually talking about money and budgeting and what you need in terms of a salary. And because I just don't think we spend enough time with that. I don't think even a lot of adults don't know how to manage their finances well. But that's just not feasible in our structure of our class. But I at least want to spend a few minutes to chat with you about that and give you a perspective. And that kind of goes into the topic of negotiation when you are offered a job or as you're seeking a job. One of the things with the online job sites exercise that we had you look at is how do you consider a job in terms of salary and benefits as you compare what job to pursue. So I just want to kind of start with a little bit of an overview. Really knowing how to negotiate is an important skill. Look, you've got to understand the market, you got to understand what's out there, and I think it's fair reimbursement for your skills, for your time, what you bring to a company, your talents is really important. And look, businesses have a strong interest in hiring people at the lowest pay possible. That makes sense, right? But I think we're in an environment, even with the pandemic, that you bring a certain set of skills, you can come and negotiate to the table and be able to use some leverage points. I think that's some of the things that we're going to talk about here is you have leverage points. There's some things that aren't negotiable, and we're going to kind of go into that a little bit. But there's a few things that you need to ask yourself as you do that planning and preparation and research. One, know how much money you need to live well. Look, you're all going to leave college and you're going to have student loan debt. You're going to have a house to pay for. You're going to need transportation, a car, insurance, gas, food. You may have some credit card debt. You're going to have student loan debt, utilities, all sorts of things, medical, internet, Wi-Fi, clothing. Are you going to start contributing to your savings IRA? So really what we're talking about is a budget. Now, I'm a huge fan of Dave Ramsey. He has a fantastic app out there called, what's it called again? Every Dollar is the actual name of the app. I wanted to get that right. That can help guide you in terms of how you manage your money. But look, you got to know what your expenses are so you know what type of job you're going to get with what type of salary. So it's also important to know the range of compensation and what you can realistically get in terms of a salary and benefits within your field. Is it $50,000? Is it $70,000? Those are things to know and important. Third thing is know what areas of your employment contract are negotiable. We're going to cover that in a little bit. And then know what special skills, assets, or characteristics you can leverage. And I'm going to go through a few of those things as well. I found a really good website that talks about salary and negotiation tips. I'm just going to rattle a few of these things off for you in case you want to take notes. It's important to wait for the appropriate time when you're going to engage that negotiation. That's probably not the first question that you want to ask at the end of your first interview. Once you get to that negotiation phase, I would not resist throwing at that first number. Base your salary request on actual hard data. Salary.com or a lot of those websites that you can look at will give you that range and that salary so you understand the window. I mean, if you're in a field that's only $50,000 and you're asking for 70, you're out of the ballpark, and they're going to look at you and say, you know what, you're kind of ignorant and you don't know really what you're asking for. So make sure you understand that your request is on data. Take your time. You can say no, right? You don't have to say yes. You can walk out of there. And then I want to roll into, so those are just some things to consider off that website I thought was actually really good that wanted to cover. So what I talked about earlier is know what employment contracts, what part of them are negotiable. Look, it's important that you actually get something in writing. If you get a job offer, it's a contract and it's a legal document. So you want to have that on paper, black and white. All right, so you can look at that. Now there's some things, there's some forms of compensation that are not negotiable, okay? The company is going to offer the same medical benefits that they offer any other employee. Paid time off, PTO, and other dental benefits, vision benefits, things like that. Those are just basic HR administrative things that you're just really not going to have a chance to negotiate. So really, it doesn't pay to even bring some of those things up. Now, there are some things that you can negotiate, and that's what we're going to talk about. There's leverage points that you need to know and understand that you can raise that salary. So when we looked at the job that you guys interviewed for with Jessa and I was Thrivent, their range of income was between $59,600 and $64,000. So generally a counteroffer in the industry is recommended between 10 and 20%. So, you're looking at, between 5 and 10,000 where you could counter. Now, if you're going to go above what that job posting is, there's some things that you need to have within your resume and in your skill set. Maybe it's a second language, Spanish, you're going into accounting or taxation, and you can offer that skill set. That is a huge, huge benefit to you to have that second language. Or there's some kind of licensure or certification. There's some of you that are in data analytics, get those certifications. That's going to help make you more marketable, and you can use that as leverage. Different leadership opportunities that you can take advantage of, any other added responsibilities or volunteering that you've done that's going to help bolster your resume, if you will, and give you points of leverage for that. In some cases, when I applied for this job at Northwestern, I was told pretty much up front that the salary was not negotiable. Now, I had some other benefits like the employee tuition grant after I've spent so much time here, and different things like that you can actually realize that are actual benefits versus purely looking at just the base salary. So again, I knew what I needed in terms of my expenses and within my budget, and I was able to work through that as well. Some other things that you can negotiate, different bonuses, incentives pay. Maybe you're moving to Chicago or somewhere on the East or West Coast. Maybe they'll provide moving expenses for you. Maybe a review of your file, and when you look for bonuses or pay raises, instead of doing it at the annual mark, you can negotiate and request, hey, can I have a review after 6 months based upon the skill sets and things that you bring to the table. So, maybe some hour flexibility. Maybe you can work in the evenings, or you could telework, or do some work on the weekends versus certain days of the week. Different things like that also help. And another big thing that I think we can look into is, do they offer follow-on education? So maybe you want to get your MBA, or maybe they'll assist in paying for some CPA licensing or exam prep or things like that. That's a great thing to also negotiate and leverage. So just some things, different things that you can think about, what you can leverage, what you can't leverage, and what you can and can't negotiate. Again, I think it's important as we kind of wrap this up is to know your numbers, to be specific, to be realistic. And you always want to ask higher, right? And so if your bare bottom is 50,000, don't be asking for 52,000, because they may counter and say 48, and then you're kind of stuck. You're like, oh, what should I do here? So go a little bit higher, and don't over explain what your needs are. Just bam, stick it out there. This is my offer. I want 58,000. They're going to probably come somewhere in the middle and come back to you on that. So give it some time. Again, know your bottom line. If they counter and say, nope, I'm only going to give you 45, and your max bottom level is 50, then you need to look them in the eye and say, hey, thanks for the offer. We're too far apart on this, and you're going to walk away. But I think the biggest thing that you can do is do your research, come well prepared, and, pray yourself up, know what you're worth and what your value is and what your expenses are. Look, the employer's not going to care what your expenses are, right? Everybody's got a mortgage. Everybody's got student loan debt. Everybody's got these expenses that they have to pay for. But that's where, you can look at and negotiate some of those negotiable things that's going to help you leverage your ability to negotiate in that process. Actually, so Jessa has put together a very great document on negotiation, and that's kind of what I walk through here. That's going to be posted on our Mudo site for you guys to take with you and review. I just wanted to highlight some of those things with you because it's a really important thing. Again, I wish we had more time to talk about budget and personal finance. We don't. But hopefully this gave you a little bit of an overview and some things to chew on and think about and apply going forward. So thanks for your time, and we'll see you soon.